Thank you, Lexi. Thank you very much, Jing. We've we've come a long way from 1986. The first news program post EDSA was The World Tonight, where I was an anchor with the late Angelo Castro Jr. and the head of news, SVP Jing Reyes, was our production assistant, who's now the big boss of ABS-CBN. I'm so proud of you, Jing. We've come a long way, yes, and I'm glad that we both share our common and shared advocacy on the immortalization of our heritage, our culture, nature, and culture. I know that you and your family, your husband, enjoy being out of the city and enjoy the cool climate in other places outside of Metro Manila. So, NCCA, Rene, Chair Jun, and all of you at NCCA, thank you for understanding my passion, my drive, and yes, you are welcome for the bigger budget of culture. Never has it happened that the NCCA has had all these budgetary allocations for indigenous culture, for museums, for weaving exhibitions, for international exhibitions like the Venice Biennale. I'd like to invite, I've been inviting you every year. You better reserve May of 2017 to see the Venice Biennale. This is an aside, but you can write about it. Because we are in the Arsenale, in the main exhibit place in Venice, along with all the big countries. And of course, I thank all of you, our dear friends from media, who have been tirelessly covering me since I was a child of television, more than 30 years ago. Jing is correct, it's our 30-year anniversary being in ABS-CBN. It's the 50 years of World Tonight, but Jing and I have not been with the World Tonight, obviously, for 50 years. I started the World Tonight in '86, like Jing has, but the whole program celebrates its 50th anniversary. I'm glad to be hosting a program so close to my heart, Dayaw on Season 2. I'm sure you've watched, I hope you've watched Season 1, which is timeless and universal, and I hope that the NCCA could give you the well-produced CDs so that you can share it with your family during your breaks during the Christmas season. I also hope that Season 2 could also have that kind of documentation. I'd also like to announce, before I proceed to the gist of my message today, that we will be doing, and ANC will be doing, Season 3 and 4. And I believe it will have the support of the NCCA and the Senate for Season 5, 6, 7, 8. So Ms. Silette Leboro, I thank you very much for your kind support. I just discovered today that Ms. Liboro is an artist and was a product of the Makiling School of the Arts, which reminds me, I gave a 2016 budget allocation because I understand that they need rehabilitation for their infrastructure, and so that it reminds me also to continue adding for the budget allocation of the Makiling School of the Arts. So I feel that all of us in this room today are kindred souls, are kindred spirits, that outside of our daily grind of working for television, of being the chairman of finance, of being editors and reporters and writers, of working 12 hours a day, at the end of the day, what matters really is who we are as a people. What is our identity as Filipinos? Despite all the political upheavals and struggles, all the seemingly distorted images in news and publications, at the end of the day, what binds us together as a nation is our identity. And that identity can be traced through the culture of our indigenous people. Whether it is to the beadwork of the manobos, which is in my hand, or intricate weaving of the talaingods or the bagobos or the tibolis, or even the weaves of the northern tribes in the Ilocos region, the Abel, or the Ifugao kind of weaving. All of these are the ties that bind. All of these are what we call hibla, which incidentally is also the name of the museum in the National Museum on our indigenous textiles. And so when we came up with the idea of documenting our indigenous people's knowledge systems, which includes weaving, culinary arts, performing arts, rituals, even their healing practices, the use of medicinal and herbal plants, tattooing, we realized that we opened a door of opportunity for greater and more intensive learning, not just for us documentarists, but also for our children, for the next generations. And it was actually Silette who made me realize today that what we are doing is not just a television show. It is really documenting the culture of the Filipino, which we will hand over to the next generation. And I think about it, if we did not document the tattoos of Wang Od of Kalinga, if we did not document the weaving of Lang Dulay, who passed on a few years ago, if we did not document a Mumbaki and the rituals, how will your children, my sons, your grandchildren know what these are? The remaining plants in the hinterlands that actually have medicinal purposes, many of our students in our DepEd schools don't actually know. So this is really our gift to the Filipino people. It's our gift to humanity. And so the same passion that I started television in the 70s, the same interest and excitement that I did The World Tonight and Pep Talk in 1986 is equally, perhaps even more passion that I'm doing it 30 years later. While I've featured indigenous peoples in Pep Talk and an Inside Story in ABS-CBN then, this time documenting it with the NCCA, people who have studied culture, people whose mandate it is to document and to preserve culture, not just indigenous, but culture in general. It's really a great blessing. And so this convergence between the Culture Agency of Government, the Philippine Senate, and ABS-CBN through ANC, and you, the media, will really be a legacy we can leave our children. And so it was Chair June De Leon who said that even if we have 1,000 episodes of Dayaw, it will never be enough to be able to convey the richness, the variety, the wealth of our culture as Filipinos. And so when you see me excited all the time, this is the reason for the excitement. And I'm sure it is also something which you will all be excited about. Please join us as we continue our journey on Dayaw. Many will ask, what does Dayaw mean? Dayaw means different things in many languages in our country. To the Ilocanos, it means honor. To the others, it means celebration. So in whichever language it is in the Philippines, Dayaw is uplifting. Dayaw is inspiring. And so we selected that word together with the NCCA to convey the celebration of our culture, the inspiration that our indigenous peoples brings to our daily lives. I thank the media, without whom our advocacy on the preservation of culture would not be heard by the general population. I think this is something which should not just be a small font in the inside pages or a by the way in our evening news. I would like to challenge ABS-CBN to put us on primetime television. Of course, that's a dream. I was asking Jing, is there any possibility to put Dayaw, even later on ABS-CBN? But we're happy that the world sees it because it's shown in TFC, in the US, in Europe. And we also will show it perhaps in cable stations, even in the provinces. So thank you very, very much. Many, many friends, Tita Ethel, Nestor, and all of you who have covered me for decades, no, not years. Thank you for always being here.